Yes, I know that yesterday I said King Richard would be a good one to take the family to this Thanksgiving, but come on, don't sleep on also taking the family to Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. Alright, full disclosure, I wasn't exactly sold on the trailer for this movie. I don't know, something about it was giving off Silent Hill, Revelation, Legend of Chun-Li, or Aliens vs. Predator Requiem vibes. Also, I only played Resident Evil 2, and that was 20 plus years ago, so I don't know if I'm the best person to tell you how close this is to the games. All that being said, the movie was a lot better than those I just mentioned. Low bar, I know. But you know what? It was a decent surprise. The movie's not great, and I'll get into that, but going in is when I found out who made the movie. It was written and directed by Johannes Roberts, and I do like this director, even when others don't. 47 Meters Down was fun. I had a good time at The Strangers Prey at Night, and 47 Meters Down Uncaged managed to make an underwater slasher film. He makes these throwback movies that kinda just are what they are without being too pretentious about it. I always liked his use of a soundtrack too, from the Bonnie Tyler scene in The Strangers 2 to Roxette in 47 Meters Down Uncaged. He knows how to work a song in and have it be something that you did not expect to hear in the movie you're watching. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City has a scene where a guy on fire walks into the station and it's playing Crush by Jennifer Page. The musical score mixes a synthy-type 80s horror score along with a 70s creepy girl score you'd hear in the Amityville Horror. It's a surprisingly quiet movie, as it all takes place in one night in this near-abandoned town where all that's left is some law enforcement and restaurant staff. And then Chernobyl by the way of the crazies happens, and our heroes navigate through various abandoned buildings and find secret entryways. Okay, going back to what I said earlier about only playing Resident Evil 2, luckily for me, this movie appears to be a lot like that. I actually got a lot of the references here. You can tell the director has a lot of love for not just the games and their tone, but also stuff like The Fog, Precinct 13, and The Thing. And sure, of course the movie is not on par with those. And it's less a movie that feels like it's from the era of the movies I mentioned, but more like a throwback movie that was made in the late 90s. The film takes place in 1998, and there's something charming about the fact that this movie replicates something I would see in 98. Seriously, it feels like it should have this box cover. It's like the kind of movie I would have seen in high school, disliked, but then decades later go on a nostalgia kick, call my friends and say, "Hey, you guys want to watch Disturbing Behavior?" There's a lot of times the 90s stuff works here, between the cinematography, the setting, and a few music cues, but then other times it gets a little too winky. There's a part where hard-ass Lieutenant Donald Logue says to a guy, "Oh, going on a date, huh? You gonna take her to Planet Hollywood and rent something at Blockbuster?" Okay, stop that. The movie's zombie action is pretty standard. None of it really sets itself apart from other zombie movies. And the design of the zombies are just okay, nothing spectacular, but the movie doesn't bombard itself with these zombie scenes, as it devotes a lot of time to these characters and the suspense of just simply investigating this creepy-ass town. Now granted, the characters, like the zombies, don't really stand out either. They're okay, a lot of their line deliveries really make them kinda interchangeable with each other. None of them are annoying, but they're not exactly memorable. They're just stock characters. The most memorable things about them are just recognizing their names from the video games. They also appear to have a problem hearing when a zombie is close behind them, and sometimes they do dumb shit, like shooting a rocket launcher at something that's right in front of the people who are on your side. And if it's a name you don't recognize from the games, odds are they won't make it. Donald Logue is one who is at least trying to be memorable, but in terms of a sorta siege movie that's old school and has a shouty police lieutenant, I saw that better in Cop Shop, which is still my favorite movie so far this year. As much time as it devotes to the setup and really exploring this world, the movie's third act is very rushed, and the lines and deliveries suddenly get a little bad in parts. And there is a post-credit scene, which one part in the movie makes it very easy to tell what that scene is gonna be. But hey, unlike the last Resident Evil movie, I can at least tell what's going on here. The movie's alright, and while the trailer may have made it look a bit like an obligation film, you can tell there's love for the series from this director. He really wanted to do something much different than the other Resident Evil movies, in terms of making just a rainy-ass movie filled with B-movie dread, while also being delightfully in love with making a 1998 horror movie, for better or worse. I'll give the movie a B-. It's not something you need to rush out to see. It is uneven. There's some good practical effects, but then also some bad CGI. But I was glad I was there. It was an okay surprise, and I'd be down with seeing more movies in this series from this director. The family movies will continue, as we've got a review coming up this week for Encanto, and until then, subscribe to our channel today, and we'll see you next time.